So, the Airmen and Family Readiness Center, what do we do? I'm glad you asked. We take care of the people while the people take care of the mission. So if you just take a look here, this is what we have planned for the next month or so. For our special needs family, we have our EFMP Christmas celebration. So we will have movies and selfies with Santa on the 8th of December. For anyone that is interested in or has even thought about leaving the military, you are looking forward to transitioning, we need those folks to register as soon as possible for our TAP classes. So you can see that the next couple of TAP workshops are scheduled for the weeks of 11 through 15 December and 8 through 12 January. For the family members of those that are deployed, we have our Hearts Apart Christmas party on 16 December. And for anyone that's expecting a baby, we'd like for those families to attend our Bundles for Babies next scheduled for 20 December. Then there's employment, specifically for federal employment. We have a workshop where we will assist with putting together federal resumes. So anyone that's interested in that civilian or transitioning military, they can attend that federal employment workshop on 20 December. And then, of course, there is our Key Spouse program, which is near and dear to my heart. So I want to say this about that. If you are wanting to make the best of this Air Force journey and you are married, I want you to encourage your spouses to become involved. To become involved in support of you, the service member, in support of our organizations, our groups and our squadrons out there, and in support of the Air Force mission. How do we do that? We get our spouses involved. So we are looking forward to seeing those spouses at training. And so I thank you very much again for being here.
Good morning. Sharon Rector from Army Community Service over at Fort Eustis. This evening, we are going to have our EFMP Selfie Extravaganza, and it starts at 5:30 to 7:30. EFMP families are welcome to come over and take a selfie with a beautiful backdrop and enjoy some of the snacks and games that we're going to play with the kids. And just come on over. If you're really thinking about coming over, just call us, so we'll be expecting you. A resume write on the 14th from 9 to 12 here at Fort Eustis. We offer some of the same programs they do at Langley, but we're just another option. If you can't make the Langley employment classes, come over to Fort Eustis, and we teach the same classes. You just hear a different briefer. But some of the things that aren't offered at Langley is our cooking classes. I'm pretty excited about this. We have a German class coming up, and they're going to teach how to cook rouladen, some potato balls, and some, of course, red cabbage. Please just call Fort Eustis and sign up for that. We do need sign-ups because the class has to have at least 5 to go. AFTB, Army Family Team Building. We also call that Military Family Team Building. You do not have to be part of the Army. It's very purple when it comes down to speaking the language. So our next one is going to be military knowledge. This is great for new spouses. It covers a lot of stuff that's covered in Key Spouse Training or in HeartLink, but it goes a little bit more in depth. A lot of those classes, or their blocks, are about an hour long, so it goes a lot more in depth into like protocol or just acronyms. So if any of you have any new spouses that are interested in this, please call ACS and sign up for it. And of course, the New Year's coming, and we have a coupon class. Everyone wants to save money, right? So on the 24th of January, we have a coupon class at the evening. Please sign up. It goes about 2 hours. We really learn. We don't do extreme couponing. We learn smart couponing and how your money's going to go far. You don't want stuff that you're going to buy, sit in your closet, and you end up throwing it away because you had a coupon for it. That's not the class we teach. We teach smart couponing. And it's not all about the paper either. So when you talk about coupons, it's about the apps too. So anybody have any questions about ACS program? Thank you.
Morning, everybody. I'm Tim McCarty. Next slide. I just wanted to talk to you about some Smart Policing Community 101 holiday tips. Already this year in our off-base housing area, we've been victims of stolen packages. You know, those folks that are signed up for Amazon Prime, and you know, we got a very efficient postal service nowadays, and you're getting those emails or those notifications that tell you the exact day in which a package is going to be delivered. We in security forces would encourage you to of course, recognize those delivery dates, and if perhaps you're not going to be home, ask one of your trusted neighbors to grab those packages. We were unsuccessful in catching a couple of the thieves that already stole some packages off of our doorsteps out in Bethel housing area, but we got a fix on their identity. So we encourage you to please share this with the rest of your squadron members too. And the next one I wanted to point out, I don't want to sound like a broken record, I did talk about it at the last KEC, but nearly 70% of all larcenies that occur in the Hampton Roads area, 70% are happening out of automobiles. And of that 70%, around 50% of those larcenies are being stolen out of vehicles who have left their doors unlocked. So we're just encouraging you to please take the one extra second, tell your folks the thing that concerns us the most with the locking your vehicle is the number of weapons that are being stolen out of vehicles. So that of course concerns not only us, but the entire Hampton Roads area. So 2 holiday crime tips, please spread the word for us. The next one I really wanted to point out today is gate closures. During the holidays, security forces, because of the extremely low volume of vehicles, motorists that are using the LaSalle gate, and, well, just the LaSalle gate, the visitor center and the large vehicle inspection area. Large vehicle inspection area doesn't really affect a lot of folks in here, but perhaps the visitor center. But nonetheless, on the 23rd through the 26th of December, Colonel Tyler has approved the closure of the LaSalle gate. That's the most impacting for this audience. For individuals who need to get a pass, just because the VCC is closed doesn't mean you can't get a pass. You can pull up to any gate and you can get a pass at any gate. They'll just simply pull over, we'll write you a pass right there. And then on the 30th of December for the New Year's Eve, 30th of December through the 1st of January, Colonel Tyler has also approved the closure of those. So we appreciate you helping us spread the word. We're going to, of course, tell PA. We've been in the paper for the last few weeks, and we're also on Facebook. But we, of course, want to avoid you coming up to that gate and then having to turn around and make your way to another gate. And then next, I would like to tell you that perhaps you have experienced it thus far at the Armistead Gate and the King Street Gate. We got a lot of money to refurbish those gates, and the construction has already begun. Construction doesn't begin until 0900 every morning, and we did that on purpose so we can get the rush hour, the 28,000 vehicles on base in about a 95-minute period. And then the construction will conclude daily, Monday through Friday at around 1500, so you shouldn't experience any. But if you're leaving the base between 09 and 1500, you perhaps are going to notice that there's reduced lanes, and we just ask you to exercise more caution when you're coming through those lanes. There'll always be 2 lanes closed at Armistead Monday through Friday between 09 and 1500. And then lastly, I just wanted to take the opportunity to tell everybody, this audience, that the speed limit has recently changed on Sweeney. So the Traffic Management Safety Working Group has decided, for various reasons, that the speed limit needs to be reduced at least from Sweeney up till past the barriers. Currently, it shows that the speed limit went from 35 to 25 up to the Shellbank Fitness Center. But we're working on perhaps maybe re-looking at where we turn it back to 35. Sir?
Already replaced the sign.
Already replaced, so they're ahead of me. So, but good, what you should know is that it's still 25 immediately coming through the gate until you pass the barrier system, the final denial system, those things that pop up out of the ground. Pending any questions, that's all I have from security forces.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Bourne. I am the Joint Base Emergency Manager, and what I'd like to talk to you today about is some inclement weather. Next slide, please. In the event that we have inclement weather move into the area, Colonel Tyler will make a decision on what the status of the base is. And basically, there's 4 statuses for the daily operations. I'll run through each of those very quickly. First is just the base is open, that's standard operating. If we have bad weather come in, we may in fact have a open under liberal leave. And what that means is, if somebody lives perhaps up in Williamsburg where they've had snow or ice up there, but it's not bad down here, commanders are authorized to grant them liberal leave, even if they have not put in a leave request. Under this and all of the situations, mission essential employees are still expected to report on time. The third one is if we have bad weather move in overnight, we may in fact delay the opening of the base. And what will come out is a message that says the base is open with a 2-hour delay. That means that everyone who is not mission essential can arrive at base basically the X number of hours beyond what your normal arrival time is. Again, I would point out that mission essential folks are still expected to arrive on base on time. Next slide, please. The last standard operating status is that the base is open under limited operations. And what that means is it's a pretty serious storm, and the only folks that are expected to come are those that are actually mission essential. Mission essential are expected to report to work on time. All non-mission essential personnel are not expected to come to work. So those are the 4 basic ones that you might see if a storm moves in overnight, and it's posted on the different notification procedures which we have, which I'll cover in a second. If we are at work and a storm is moving into the area and Colonel Tyler decides to release the base early, we'll put out a status that says the base is open with staggered release. And what that means is we're going to try to clear the base off early to get folks out of the area before the storm actually hits. Next slide, please. If we do this, we have a staggered release plan. And the reason we do this is a couple years ago when we let the base leave early, everybody left, we're just going to say 1400, and Sweeney Boulevard was backed all the way back up to the ACC campus. So what we did is we developed a plan, and it does work. We've used it a couple times if all the units actually support the plan. And basically we've divided the area into 4 zones. It's based on how far the individual lives from the base, from the installation here. So what would happen is Colonel Tyler would say, the base is going to have a staggered release starting at 1400 hours. Everyone that lives in zone 1 would leave at 1400 hours, and that would start to clear the base out. Those that live in zone 2, which is a little less distance, would leave at 1430. Those that live at zone 3 would leave at 1500, and then those that pretty much live on the base or Bethel Manor, they would stay until 1530 there. The reason, again, we do that, and it's important, is if everybody hops in their cars and leaves at once, 28,000 vehicles trying to leave the base just backs it up tremendously. So we ask commanders, and we'll put this out at the Emergency Management Working Group, to try to enforce the timelines that we have here so that this program will actually work there. Next slide, please. If Colonel Tyler does make a decision to change the status of the base, a couple ways that you'll find out. Chain of command is, of course, the primary method. We'll use the emergency mass notification system. That is the ad hoc notifications you get on your phone or on your computer if you happen to be on your computer there. And of course we have the social media, the web page, the app, things like that. And then finally local television and radio. If you go onto the website, it's located right on the front page of the website. It will say what the operating status is. And if you click on whichever one it is, it'll go into detail as to what that actually means. I would mention that we do list local television and radios. If you're at home overnight and you see something on television the following morning, just be aware that there may be a delay in what actually is the status of the base. We send it to the television stations as soon as we make the decision, but they update it at certain periods of time. And so you may be actually looking at one of the old notifications there. So the best way is actually to use the web page here. Next slide. Now the last thing I want to do is point out put in a push for the app. Everyone that has a smartphone can sign up for the Public Affairs app. All you do is you go into your app phone store, you type in JBLE, and the JBLE app will show up on your smartphone there. This app gives you tons of information. Most importantly is right here in the middle is it has the base status again. So if you're at home and you have that on your app, you can just check what the status of the base is. But it also has things like phone numbers and current events, things like that. So it's a great app if you do not need it there. That's all I wanted to cover. Anyone have any questions for me? Thank you.
I'm back. Forgive me for not stating this before, but the CEC is being videoed for Facebook, so I needed to let you all know that.
Good morning. My name is Erin Babakan. I'm the Regional Program Manager for the American Red Cross Service to Armed Forces for Langley Air Force Base, Jeb Little Creek Fort Story, and NAS Oceana. I'm here today, excited today, to talk about our 2017 campaign, Holiday for Heroes. This year we will not be collecting Christmas cards to send overseas, but we will be collecting hygiene products and snacks to send to our troops who are stationed overseas right now. Those who are deployed in Djibouti, Kuwait, and Iraq specifically. So we'll be collecting snack items, hygiene items. If you have a command or an organization who would like to participate, definitely please start collecting these items. Next slide, please. We will be collecting from now until December 31st. Everything does need to be picked up by January 15th, so we can ship them out by January 31st. If you have a group that is interested in participating in Holiday for Heroes, please get in touch with me and we can arrange pickup or drop off. I have flyers in the back that have my contact information on them. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Ford from the Family Advocacy Program. We have a threefold mission: prevention, intervention, and treatment. Prevention, of course, being our #1 goal. We accomplish prevention via numerous activities, #1 being education. So we have 3 classes coming up. PrEP, which is a class for couples enrichment class, teaches some communication skills, things like that. We have anger management, of course, coming up in January, and active parenting of teens in February. Next slide, please. We also have a bunch of other classes that we offer to either individuals or in units. So just give us a call and let us know if you'd like to have any of those classes offered. I do want to say that February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, so we will have some different activities coming up as well for that. Any questions?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dottie Scarborough. I'm the Child and Youth Services Outreach Services Director. Next slide. I want to share with you some of the opportunities that are happening over on the youth program side of the house this month. Their calendar is also located on the JBLE for Support website and their Facebook pages. But they have great opportunities. They use the Boys and Girls Club of America programming, and let me tell you, this thing right here is absolutely a fantastic program. It helps with leadership opportunities, character building in the 4-H area of that of the program as well. Right now, the dates of the closures and the holiday operating hours are listed. Also, next slide, please. Their calendar, again, is listed on the website. They have lots of benefits for those who choose to become members. They're going to help you with grant writing, with scholarship opportunities. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say I can personally attest to the programming that goes on in our military child and youth programs, in that because of this program, and I can say this a proud mama moment, but Boys and Girls Club 4-H programming helped my child get a full ride at Virginia Tech. And I attribute that to these programs. So please, 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 share with your squadron, share with the community what exactly goes on in our programs. We have lots and lots of things happening, both on the Langley side of the house and the Fort Eustis side of the house. So if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can always contact me. I am assigned at Fort Eustis, but I'm both here and there, and I can help assist you with any of the programming that's going on. Next slide. In our instructional programs, those are the programs, say, gymnastics, dance, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, all of those things are happening, and they have been proven. It's a proven fact that children who are involved in these types of activities develop a discipline that will help them in the school setting and beyond. Any questions for me today? Well, contact me if you have questions, 878-4025. You guys have a wonderful holiday season.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Jager. I'm the education officer from Langley Air Force Base. That's cut me in now? Does that work? Can you hear any of this? There we go. The voluntary education program exists to support our military members in becoming critical thinkers and apply that to their job. Critical thinkers, reasoners. And we do that in a couple of different ways. We do that through the Military Tuition Assistance Program, we do that through counseling and advisement, and through the testing programs. We deal with the students on Langley deal with 172 different schools. And so while I've given you the registration and class times, this is for our on-base programs. Each school has a different registration program timeline, and like I said, 170 different schools. Basically, the member is responsible for keeping track of it. We did a needs assessment recently to determine that we had some gap in the programs we're offering to the base. And we determined that we were not serving our intel folks very well. And so what we've done is we've decided to add programs for cybersecurity, network security, and some computer science courses. And those will start as soon as we get the agreement in place. Education fair we do once a year, and that basically allows the base population opportunity to meet up with about 27 to 30 different schools. And the last one we did was pretty well attended. We had CCAF there, we had the libraries in there, we had 27 different schools, and gave people an opportunity to sit down and talk about it. That's all I have for today. Is anyone have any questions? Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anna Bennett. I'm a community ratings consultant with Airmen and Family Rating Center. And this morning, I want to talk to you a little bit about holiday tips. As you know that holiday is quickly approaching, and sometimes there's anxiety with the holiday approaching, and people get a little overwhelmed. So hopefully these tips will help other people, because I know everyone in here already has their holiday shopping already done, gifts are already wrapped under the tree, everything's good. So just in case you have peers, co-workers, or people you know who aren't as proactive as you are, just give them these tips, okay? Next slide, please. Any financial briefing you go to, the first thing people say is to develop a budget, right? How many times have you heard that? Many times? How many people rather have spending plans than budgets? Even though they're the same thing, it just makes you feel like you can spend? Okay, just me, okay. The first thing is developing a spending plan or develop a budget. Your budget identifies how much money you have left over so that you can know what you have to spend for the holidays. So you want to develop a spending plan to include your normal household expenses, you know, rent, utilities, and things like that, but also your holiday expenses as well, wrapping paper, Christmas tree, additional food, and things like that. If you're planning to travel, you want to include that in your budget. Second, you want to make a list. Santa makes a list, why shouldn't we? Make a list of everyone you want to shop for, then identify what you want to purchase for them, and then put a dollar amount there. In addition, you want to list the things that you know you need, wrapping paper, additional groceries and things like that, and put a list. Go to the store with a list. What happens if you don't have a list? We go willy-nilly and we start buying things that we don't need. If you have a list, those gold people in the room, you like to check off the list, right? So if you have the list, everything's on the list. Don't get anything that's not on the list. Check off the list, okay? Check it twice, and only buy what's on the list. The other thing is shop wisely. Look for sales, look for discounts. A lot of stores have military discounts, but they don't tell you they have military discounts. You have to ask, so ask. In addition, Ask if there are coupons. Some stores you go to, they have additional coupons in the back, but they don't give you the coupon unless you ask. The other thing is, make sure you're asking about sales. My husband wanted these $300 Bose headphones. I can't spend $300 on headphones. I just can't do it. So I asked the salesperson, is there a sale coming up? She said, yes, there is. I waited, bought them on sale, $50 off. So he has his, if you know my husband, please don't tell me he has his Bose earphones, okay? But I was able to get them on discount. So ask if they're a sale. Shop wisely. Also, like I said, shop online, compare prices, things like that. Just make sure that you're shopping wisely. If you're shopping online, just make sure that you're also mindful of the secure websites as well. Be creative. If you don't have the funds to purchase everything that you want, then be mindful that, if you come from a large family, think about selecting names, drawing names and buying one gift. The other thing is homemade gifts. All of my neighbors receive a rum cake from the Bennett family every year. So that's my homemade gift that we provide to our neighbors. So be creative. In addition, for newly married couples, something that you may want to look at is gifts of service. The coupon books. I think one installation, we were at another installation, we had an exercise where we created books for like a coupon for dishes, loaded in the dishwasher, or maybe a nice back rub or a foot rub or things like that, gifts of service, instead of breaking the bank on purchasing things. So be creative. Track expenses. This is huge. A lot of times, if we don't track our expenses, we find ourselves going over our budget. So be mindful. At Airman Family, we have little expense books, and I know there's an app for everything, but if you're a tangible, hands-on person and you want an expense book, stop by the center. We'll give you an expense book so you can jot down everything that you're buying, so that you know how much you're spending. And then that'll help you to also be mindful if your account is ever compromised. Holiday time, you have to be careful. Every time we swipe that debit card, we run the risk of identity theft. I know this isn't a financial briefing, so I'm going to move on, but be mindful. But if you're using a debit card, just use one card. Don't switch several accounts, because if your account is compromised, it's harder to track if you have several different ways that you're purchasing things. And again, checking your statements and checking to make sure that additional expenses have not been charged on your card. Think long term. It's too late this year to really look at a Christmas club and things like that, but plan for next year. If you know you're a gift giver and you love shopping for the holidays, look at establishing another account. Set up a savings account where you just, after you've done your budget, identify how much money you have available for shopping. Allot that money to another account so that you're able to put that in there and use that for holiday spending. In addition, you may earn a little bit extra interest too, so that's a little more money that you can use to spend. So just be mindful. It's too late this year, but plan for next year so that you're not, trying to pay for next year's holiday expenses throughout the rest of the year, But if you're interested in sitting down with someone to establish a spending plan or a budget, feel free, call Airman Family Readiness Center, 764-3990. We will be glad to sit down with you to help to establish a spending plan. We also have a PFC, Mr. Kenneth Hall, who is exceptional, and he can provide additional financial resources and things like that for you. Any questions from Airman Family? Thank you and happy holidays.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Norm Fox. I am the Deputy Commander at the Medical Group. Apparently today I am Nathan. So I'm representing Colonel Mark Nasser, who is TDY this week. So show of hands, how many people got up this morning and decided they wanted to hurt somebody? Anybody? Don't raise your hands. Okay, so nobody really gets up in the morning thinking they want to hurt people, right? We certainly don't at the Medical Group. If you didn't know this, it's the 4th or 5th highest cause of death in the country is medical mistakes, right? Probably have heard that somewhere. So about 2 years ago, the Air Force Medical Service decided that we were going to try to do something about that. So they went out to industry to see if there was a way to help reduce the amount of mistakes that we make. we came up with something that we learned from the aircraft industry and also the nuclear industry. It's called a high reliability organization. So we are about 2 years into what we anticipate is a 10-year journey to go from being just a good hospital to being a high reliability organization. So as part of that, we're going through what we call trusted care. And trusted care has a bunch of different tenets, and we're going to talk about one today. And we have a different theme every month. And so this month, we'll go ahead and go with the next slide. I think we have is zero harm. So what does zero harm mean? It doesn't necessarily, what it means is we'd like to get to not hurting anybody. Is that possible? I don't know. It's very difficult. However, we're trying to get to that point where we don't harm people. You don't want to come to a hospital to get hurt. I certainly don't. And so here's some of the tenets that we use. And so zero harm this month means that we focus on the things that could cause harm to people. So in this case, we have a preoccupation with failure. If we do have a failure, we want to take a look at it. We want to try to avoid it as much as possible, but we want to make sure that if we do have something that happens, we don't start blaming people. We try to resolve it. We try to figure out what's going on with it. Simplify observations. We don't necessarily just say, hey, it was a mistake and we'll just move on. We analyze things. We have an entire department that is dedicated to looking at processes and making them work better. Sensitivity operations, that means the guys that are working, the doctors and nurses and techs that are working on the front lines, we try to make sure that we don't overburden them with other things like, I don't know, picking up trash or other stuff that we military folks do on a regular basis. All right, next slide. Commitment to resilience just basically means that if something does happen, we don't let it get us down. We continue on. We realize that things happen and we get over them and move on. And deference to expertise. I have to read that because I can't remember what that one's about. Okay, so the decision-making process is at the lowest level. So as you know, we've got a lot of doctors and we have a lot of techs, and sometimes the techs don't want to speak up because the doctor is the boss, right? Well, we're changing that culture because we want everybody to feel like they can speak up if something is going to cause harm to a patient. And so that's part of the process that we're changing because, a guy like me walks in and with, some stuff on their collar, and there's a two-striper in the room, they're going to think, oh, geez, that guy doesn't know what he's doing, so I'm not going to say anything. Not the case. We want to make sure that people feel free to say something so that we don't make a mistake that ends up getting to a patient. Next slide. So that is our theme of the month, Zero Harm. Again, we have themes every month, and we talk about them. We have daily huddles, and we have discussions and so on. And so we're working towards becoming a high reliability organization. So some other things this month, we just opened up a new MRI suite, and so we're very happy with that. It was about 1.5 to 2 years in the making. And so if you are a patient, come by and get an MRI. Okay, it's not going to be free or anything. Well, if you're a dependent or one of the folks that are in panel with us, then yeah, you can get one for free. And also, if you haven't noticed, the BX pharmacy is kind of small, the area in the satellite pharmacy. So we are currently creating a new one, and it's just down from the BX complex. So on the way down towards the Class 6 or the shopette, we've seen a fence around the old bank building. That's going to be the new pharmacy. And so it's opened up, going to be bigger, better, hopefully be able to serve people more efficiently. So that's it for me. Any questions? Thanks.
Good morning and happy holidays. My name is Nancy Christian. I'm from Joint Base Marketing, and I'm happy to be here today. Actually, we kicked off the fun last week. We had the free trees for troops. We had the tree lighting kicking off at Fort Eustis. And this Friday, we will be at Langley. It starts from 6 to 8 p.m. There will be carolers, face painting, and different activities for the family. Please join us. Also on Friday, we will have Gator Almond and the Spice of Life's band. So if you want to party right here in this club, please come on over. This Saturday, we're having Iron Man visit right at our bowling center right here from 1 to 3 p.m. And the following Saturday, you can bowl with Santa. So Santa's in town, okay? But one of the things that really we need your help is to connect with us. We oftentimes hear, we don't know. And we understand that because if you're not right in front of a poster, or you miss a flyer, or you're not at one of our prior events, you may not know. But social media is how you connect. We just launched a new mobile app, JBLE FSS MWR. We encourage you to please join us on this app.
And from the very bottom of a very sincere heart, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. I'd like to turn it over now to our 633rd Air Base Wing Commander, Colonel Tyler, for closing remarks.
Thank you, Robin. Before I get to that, does anybody have anything, any questions or things we missed at the table or in the seats anywhere? Okay. No, just thanks everybody for coming. Thanks to the FSS for putting this together, and to the Ms. McMullen and Murphy, thank you for ACC spouses and all our wing group and squadron spouses for being here. You know, the purpose of this event is to really get to the command teams and get information to our command teams, and then obviously out to our airmen through that network. And appreciate you recording this today and posting it. And we'll keep going after this. This is the second one we've done here at Langley now, and hopefully we'll get some inroads on this. And then finally, just hope everybody has a happy holiday time, and stay safe. Thank you.